Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our coverage of the qualifying session for this IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. We're at Watkins Glen International, live on the video stream at IMSA.tv and the app, of course. We'll join in with IMSA Radio in just a couple or 3 minutes' time. Beautiful day here at Watkins Glen International, perfect for motor racing. We've had 4 seasons already this morning. Absolutely gorgeous at the moment. The track is pretty much dry, certainly on the racing line. The surroundings are very wet indeed, having had a big downpour this morning. Jeremy Shaw is alongside me. Our Continental Tire Pit Lane reporters, Shea Adam and Jim Roller. And we'll speak to all of those in a moment. The Corvette Corral out in force down at turn number 1. There's a Cadillac Racing Corral as well. Loads of minis from the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. And if you're watching this, you will be able to watch wherever you are in the world, including here in the continental US. You will be able to watch the 2-hour race this afternoon for Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge here with us on IMSA.tv. Cars in the pit lane, they were out very early. GTD class will go out first. There are 17 of them. 15 minutes of qualifying for each of the sessions. Just about time for you to get your picks in now to podiumpredictor.com, powered by IHG Rewards Club. You're up against Alan McNish as the expert this weekend. Got to get them in before we go green, so you've got 2 or 3 minutes to rattle through that and get your picks in for each of the classes. We're trying to make someone a points millionaire this year. If you don't get them in for this race, well, you've not got long to wait, because we'll be opening up the competition for Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, which is next weekend, of course. So keep checking back to www.podiumpredictor.com, powered by IHG Rewards Club. Jeremy Shaw, what a change in the situation. Everyone will have been running around deciding where they're going to put the cars on wet weather settings, and now it's absolutely dry. Get your best set of remaining slicks out, and we've got all of the GT cars in the pit lane. None of the prototypes on parade as yet. It is GTD, then GTLM. It will be, of course, the 5 and the 31 who come to the entrance of pit lane first. They are tremendously superstitious, those 2 teams, and their competitors know it as well. So with just about a minute to go before we get things underway, stand by for the green flag, and we'll join with the IMSA Radio Network worldwide, as well as Sound and Vision together here on IMSA.tv and on the app. And if you're watching on your computer at the moment and you need to take us away, whatever your smart device, then there is an IMSA app just for you. Go to your app store. The 3 major operating systems are supported, and go to your app stores, search IMSA, and make sure you download it. It's absolutely free and will never ask you for any cash. Hello everybody, and welcome along to the Watkins Glen round of the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. It's qualifying for the big show. IMSA WSC GT classes are out on the circuit, and it's live here on IMSA Radio. So those of you joining us on IMSA Radio, we're live in Sound and Vision 2 on IMSA.tv and the app, and cars are out on the circuit. Jeremy Shaw alongside me. Who would be a tyre technician or a #1 mechanic on a day like this, Jeremy? Because I have no doubt at all that everybody was scrambling for wet tyres and wet setup sheets earlier on, and what we've got now is a perfect summer's day here in the Finger Lakes area.
Bizarre is the only way to describe the weather right now, or this morning. As you said, we've just about seen 4 or even half a dozen seasons, I reckon, in the last 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, the track, it's still not completely dry, but it is drying pretty fast. It's good temperature here. It's good, you know, nice and warm. A little bit of a breeze, and no rain in sight, at least for the next while. The next rain on my radar says it may be hitting here about 1:15, which is shortly after the conclusion of qualifying. So the track is going to get faster and faster and faster, and this is going to be tricky conditions for some of these guys, particularly right now for the GTD cars, because the track is certainly damp, and if you get offline, wet.
Yeah, you're going to be in trouble. And you know what we saw this morning was a really wet session. 2 Lexus right up there, the Lamborghini looking good, both the Lamborghinis looking good this morning, but the 57 Audi particularly good, and the 75 Tristan Fortier was astonishingly quick in wet conditions. Shea Adam with news of an early penalty in this Continental Tire pit lane report.
Several early penalties, unfortunately, John. A couple of drivers a bit too eager to get out on the racetrack to start this session. The number 14 Lexus, the 75 Mercedes, which is on the pit lane right now driving through, and the number 50 Mercedes. They all exceeded the pit lane speed exiting the pit lane, and for the 50, it is the first of our GTD cars that would have been allowed out, well, second only to its teammate, given the point situation coming in. So for that to have happened, he must have gotten up to speed really fast before the pit exit line.
So they're going to lose a little bit of track time. Sage Karam out in the 14 Lexus, Jack Hawksworth in the 15, Corey Lewis in the 16 Lamborghini, Townsend Bell in the 23 Audi, Paolo Roberti in the 27 Lamborghini, Michael De Quesada in the 28 Porsche. He's just got out of the Cup Porsche. Ben Keating will qualify the 33 Mercedes-Benz, the AMG, should I say. Madison Snow in the 48 Lamborghini, Cooper McNeil in the 50 Merc, John Bennett in the 54 Porsche, Lawson Aschenbach in the 57 Stevenson Audi, Christina Nielsen in the 63 Scuderia Corsa Ferrari, Matt McMurray in the pit lane now in the 73, Boris Said in the 75, Porsche and Merc respectively, and all the best to Jörg Bergmeister, who can't be here for family reasons this weekend. I'm not sure he'll have time to be listening in or watching this, but Jörg, if you are, or you're near Jörg, tell him we're asking after him and the family, won't you? And when I say we are, I mean everybody here, all his friends and his extended family here in the paddock. Andy Lally in the 93 Acura, and Justin Marks in the 96 BMW, Jeff Siegel in the 86 Acura, and those will be your qualifying drivers, Jeremy.
Yes, and this being a 6-hour race, Sahlen 6 hours of the Glen tomorrow. Qualifying generally for GTD, of course, it's a Pro-Am class, so you have to have a silver-rated driver, generally not a professional, or not really the case these days. There's quite a few professional silver drivers, less supposedly lesser experienced, but generally for the shorter races, 2.5 hour races, which is the norm for the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship, you would start off with the lesser rated driver and then have the faster, generally more experienced driver to finish off the race. 6 hours though, many more strategic options. Doesn't really matter who qualifies. Just interested to see some of the orders here, who is qualifying each of the cars. Number 50 car, for example, Cooper McNeil is joined this weekend by his regular co-driver, which is Glen, and also Shane van Gisbergen from New Zealand, although racing in Australia. But it is Cooper McNeil who is qualifying that car as usual. Number 54, Core Autosport Porsche, also as usual. John Bennett will be taking the starting duties. They will start the race, they'll get their stint out of the way, and then they'll let the more experienced drivers finish off the final 4.5 hours or so of the race tomorrow afternoon. So interesting strategies. Tell you what though, we've seen a Lexus pair very, very fast in each of the sessions so far, and indeed in recent races as well. We saw Acura win last time out at Detroit. That car's been fast in all of the sessions as well this weekend, so it's going to be quite a battle. Perhaps my money might be on one of the, if not the Acura, then one of the Lexus to gain the pole position this afternoon. We'll see. I guess it's still morning, actually, aren't we?
Still 8.5 minutes to go. Andy Lally with the best time so far in that 93 Acura, coming off the win at Belle Isle, Detroit. Well, it's just faultless in terms of the driving, the tactics, everything. There wasn't a mark on the car. Jeff Siegel drops into second place with a 48.3, so half a second, 4/10 between the two Acura teammates. First year of competition for the Acura NSX. Jax Hawksworth, north of England. Well, Midlands really, if you come from where I am, but he would say the north of England. In the 15th Lexus. 15 Lexus in third position. He's about a second further back, so the two Acuras setting the early pace here. Lawson Aschenbach getting up to speed in the 57 Audi, then Corey Lewis in the 16 Lambo.
Yeah, but Hawks has not yet completed his third flying lap, so he's on a good lap now. Went purple in the middle sector, waiting for that car. That car goes across the line now. He does go to the top, does Jack, in that car number 15. Fastest sectors of all in 1 and 3, 1:47.506 then for the Yorkshireman. Just ahead around Elana. So everybody completed now 3 laps. Sage Karam slots into third position in the second of the Lexus, car number 14. So it's number 15 Hawksworth at the fastest at the moment. Andy Lally, number 93 for Acura, second. Sage Karam 14, Lexus third.
Now what's affectionately called the meatball flag here, the black and orange mechanical issue flag, is in the hands of Tanny down on the starter stand, and I can't see the number unfortunately because it's on a illuminated part of the starter stand and it's blocked by from us from above. It's the 23 Audi has just come in the pit lane, and they've just and the meatball flag has been put down by flag starter, so the 23 car with Townsend Bell has been pulled into the pit lane. They're looking around the right rear.
It's a replay there of
that car.
One of the Lexus running wide, I think.
Right.
Just caught the end of it.
And we'll get one of our pit lane reporters down to Townsend Bell's Audi. One of a number of cars with patriotic liveries this weekend. They've just gone for a very simple but effective fluttering stars and stripes on the top of the car, where normally they would have the dark maroon stripe and the rhombus for Audi Sport. A number of people have gone for that this weekend. Acura have gone for something a little more extravagant with Uncle Sam on one of the cars, that's on the 86, and Lady Liberty on the 93 car.
Time's coming down with each lap, as we would have expected, with the track drying out. Jeff Siegel went to the top in car number 86, the Audi. Lawson Aschenbach in the second place, but now Jack Hawksworth vaults both of them back into the front there in that number 15 Lexus. We saw that car qualify second quickest at Circuit Americas. Actually lost that time in the end because of a ride height infraction, but that car has been really fast for the last, well, 3 or 4 races, certainly the last 3 in particular. Not yet a top result to their name or even in qualifying, but the car's been quick, and Jack Hawksworth certainly has got the bit between his teeth right now.
Paolo Roberti coming round to the end of the lap in the 27 Dream Racing Lamborghini. Just 0.015 of a second between Hawksworth and Aschenbach at the moment, the front of the field. Roberti will improve his 1:48 and goes to where as he crosses the line? 5th position.
Good effort by him in that Dream Racing Motorsport entry.
Andy Lally up to 3rd for Acura, 3rd and 4th again for Acura, 93 and 86, Lally and Siegel.
Indeed, Jeff Siegel went briefly purple in Sector 1, but that has now been eclipsed by Andy Lally, who is behind him on the racetrack in car number 93, so both Acuras really looking fast.
I think we've got a cracking race in GT Daytona this weekend. I really do.
Surprise, wouldn't it?
Well, you know, the longer races I like. I have nothing against the sprint races, but I do like the longer races, and it does give the opportunity for somebody who makes a slight fumble to get back 93 just heading through turn number 8, just dropping off over the edge of the track for a moment. This is the Lady Liberty patriotic livery, lots of stars on that car.
Purple sector 2 now for Lawson Ascheback. Jack Hawksworth lifted off in sectors 2 and 3, give the tyres, the Continental tyres, a little bit of a breather perhaps on that lap. But Lawson Ascheback and Andy Lally are pushing on hard.
Let's go down to Jim Roller for an update on that mechanical issue on the 23 car.
Guys are going to take it behind the wall right now. Transmission, John, stuck in gear.
Oh dear, it must have been leaking some fluid as well as Andy Lally. Jeremy posts a new quickest time.
He does. He 46.051 for Andy Lally, number 93 Acura. Lawson Ascheback into second place in number 57 Stevenson Motorsport Audi, a 146.271. Jack Hawksworth has not completely up to speed yet on this lap either. Still third though, 146.724 for Jack Hawksworth, number 15. Second of the Acuras, Jeff Siegel is at a 146.8. Paolo Roberti, as John said a moment ago, in the number 27 Dream Racing Motorsport Lamborghini, 147.4 ahead of Sage Karam, who's on a better lap now. His best so far, 154.
Oh,
a big spin
for the 15 car off Jack Hawksworth. He's got away with that. Put the lottery on this weekend, Jack.
Just gone purple he had in sector 2. Where was that spin?
That was coming out onto the short part of the circuit, out to turn number 9. Uphill, left-hander, very quick indeed. He's cracked the wall, but my goodness, he's been lucky that he didn't do much more damage there. Just brushes the tyre wall when it could have been far, far worse. He may just have been going wide to avoid the 16 Lamborghini that was touring on the inside for Corey Lewis, and brushes the tyre barrier with the right rear. He was offline.
He was offline. He carried, just trying to carry as much speed as he possibly could.
Red flag.
Yeah. Oops.
Ah, he's got.
Oh, that's the other. That's the sister car.
That's the sister car in the same place. Oh, well, there must be something on the circuit then. I wonder if Corey was going slowly because he was dropping some fluid, and it's on the apex, and the 14's come round and nailed the wall. Sage Karam has got it hard right front, and that will end the session. We've got enough to make that a viable session for times to count. Well, that to me screams something on the circuit. It's a little bit further around the corner, but not much.
There was certainly some debris left from Jack Hawksworth when he went off there and left some bits and pieces on the racetrack.
Same spot, exactly. He actually hit about 10 or 15 yards further down, but he was almost on exactly the same skid marks. A little bit of dampness on the outside of the corner.
So he won't be very happy about that, and that'll be Paul Gentilozzi.
Well, there's a lot of work to do there.
These two, of course, Jack Hawksworth and Sage Karam, they actually share an apartment in Lansing, Michigan, the home of GT3 Racing.
Let's go down to GT3 Racing, and Jim Roller is the man who is going to rather bravely stick a microphone underneath Paul Gentilozzi's nose for this Continental Tire Pit Lane report.
Down here with the Lexus crew, and Paul, that kind of went from bad to worse for you.
Well, obviously that curb is wet, so Jack learned it and Sage didn't. So hopefully it's not much damage and we can get it fixed.
All right, good luck.
And Shea Adam then has Andy Lally backing up a win at Detroit with a pole position here at Watkins Glen International. The 93 Acura team on a bit of a roll at the moment. Believe it or not, Andy Lally's first pole position.
Hello, Andy. Thank you very much. Boy, when it rains, it pours in most situations, but for you guys, it's the exact opposite. You got the win at Detroit. Now you come out here and get the win at the pole at the Glen. It's been a pretty good month for you guys.
Boy, it sure has. These guys, and it's all a testament to these guys at MSR and Acura and HPD. This is a new program, and they are hustling. We knew we weren't going to come out of the box kicking butt, but we knew we were going to have to work for it. And boy, they did. They did so hard, and they've done so much. And I really appreciate that. This is, I don't get a chance to qualify too much, so this is a pretty neat deal. And at my home, my favorite track, my home track, at Watkins Glen is pretty special. I love it around here. And when you put one of those crazy laps together, you know, coming to the checker, like you're breathing harder than you should on any other lap that I ever do. So that was great. I got to say thanks to Continental Tire. We beat the heck out of those, slipping and sliding through the wet and the dry, and really appreciate that. Big thanks to Mike Shank, Kat, Lee, everybody at Honda, Gary, all my crew guys, Justin and the gang over here. Huge thanks, because that's a wonderful thing. That feels good. These guys have put a lot of work into this tribute scheme, and it's cool to stick it on the pole.
Well, you've proven that you can do it in the short races. I mean, Detroit, 100 minutes, tight spaces. Now you come to the Glen, you got 6 hours and wide open spaces. What's the mindset like coming into this race?
This is a 6-hour sprint race. We are flat out here. Just like the 24 was a 24-hour sprint race and Sebring was a 12. These cars are too strong, too good not to push. You can't lay off and wait for people to break. You know, this Acura's strong. All these other manufacturers that compete. GT3's got the widest range of manufacturers on the planet here, and they're all strong. So we got to be pushing. We can't lay off and hope for a win.
Congratulations again to Andy Lally and the 93 team, pole for GTD.
Jack Hawksworth has made it back to the pits, and a quick examination of the number 15 car from the Lexus badge on the back to the passenger side, which would be the right side of the car, is going to need some cosmetic work. Doesn't look like there's a lot of damage, but the team is going to have to work. Let's see if we can get a quick word with Jack. That was a close call. You did a little bit of damage there, but not near as bad as what happened to your teammate.
Yeah, it was a shame, really. I didn't particularly do a great job then. We had a very fast car, and the lap before that, I was on a good lap, and I outbrought myself into 7, so I backed off, and I only had 1 lap to get it done at the end. Again, it was on a very good lap, and come up on the guys at the end, tried to set myself up so I didn't lose time behind them. Hit a wet patch, 360'd it. Fortunately, only a bit of body work at the back. But yeah, shame, you know, both cars had a little incident then, but I mean, the car was very good. The RCF was handling great, but just a little bit disappointed myself then. Really didn't, you know, the car was a lot faster than it showed, so it was a shame.
All right, better luck next time, Jack.
Mixed fortunes for the 2 new manufacturers in GT Daytona. The 2 Lexus with damage, and 93 on pole position with Jeff Siegel putting the other Acura on the outside of the second row. Jack Hawksworth thought will start on the inside of the second row. Acura, Audi, Lexus, Acura, Lamborghini, BMW. So 6 different manufacturers in the top 6 there, separated by about a second and a half. Feel that we didn't quite see everybody's best there, but I think that's a reasonable representation of how tight it is between the manufacturers in GT Daytona.
Agree entirely, and hats off there to Jack Hawksworth for putting his hand up, saying I didn't do a great job there. Typical Jack Hawksworth, and typical Andy Lally too. What a great character that boy is. He's always been one of my favourite people. From Long Island in New York, so home state for Andy. That's why, in particular, he's delighted to get the pole here at Watkins Glen International. Great lap it was by Andy. He was the guy who put it all together. He's got a lot of experience, of course, and a lot of success as well. And he and Catherine Legg, they're just gelling so well together with an entire Michael Shank racing team, Honda Performance Development. Great effort by everybody there.
Right, let's head down to Shea Adam, who can give us the drivers for GTLM qualifying, which comes up next. We'll reset the clock to 15 minutes as the 14 car is being pulled onto the back of a rollback, a flatbed. Shea, who's doing the qualifying duties in GTLM?
Well, which way would you like it, John? Would you like the cars in order from pit out to pit in, or pit in to pit out?
Pit out to pit in will be fine.
Pit out. Okay, so starting with the cars all the way down are BMW. We find the 2 drivers for BMW who have never raced here before have been given qualifying duties. So Martin Tomczak in the 25 and Alexander Sims in the 24. Definitely know that because their co-drivers were having a nice leisurely lunch at Marion's without their fire suits on. In the number 912, the Porsche, it's not Jimmy Bruni qualifying. It will be Lawrence Vantour. He's tested here. He's discovered what the wall looks like on the outside of the last turn. He didn't actually touch it, though, in qualifying, but he posted a video saying just how much he enjoys this track. Number 911 will be Patrick Pile, and he has already settled himself in behind the wheel of that car. Then we come down to the Fords. The 3-time race winner, Richard Westbrook, and 3 times in a row is getting behind the wheel of the 67. And for the 66, I believe it will be Joey Hand, because that's who drove the car down the pit lane. Then we come to the cars all the way at pit exit, the 4 Corvette. Tommy Milner has the honor, or as Antonio Garcia, who will be behind the wheel of the 3, said, well, that's one way to put it. Mixed conditions, not exactly what they were hoping for, but the good news for them, it's not raining right now, so it should be a very good session for everybody. No wet tires on any of these cars. It's all dry Michelins, so it's all what can you do.
Chevy, BMW, Ford and Porsche share no Ferrari here this weekend. Giuseppe Risi's team taking a little sabbatical from racing in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship.
A planned sabbatical, yes. They went over and ran the 24 Hours of Le Mans in a different car from their U.S. car, so the crash they had over there played no role in the fact that they aren't here. They already have had 2 severely damaged cars from Long Beach and from Circuit of the Americas. Both times they did not even make it through 2 complete laps. I mean, if you combine the number of laps that they were able to get. So they're taking a little bit of time off. They're going to miss Watkins Glen, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and Lime Rock, making a return at Road America, where they were testing earlier in the week. So by no means are they done trying to get wins. They're just taking a little bit of a vacation.
And Rick Mayer telling Racer Magazine Rick Mayer, who's the team manager effectively for Risi at Sebring, that it's $300 to $400 a lap to run one of these GTLM cars, so it stacks up very, very quickly. Well, take your pick from those drivers that Shea has mentioned to us. The GT Le Mans class is up next for IMSA WSC qualifying. 15 minutes on the clock, just waiting for the track to be declared clean and clear. A little bit of work going on in that short chute between turn 9 and turn 10. A bit of oil dry going down to the extreme driver's left. It's not on the racing line. Not even my dodgy racing lines would take me all the way over there. Coming out of turn 9, swing across to the right-hand side of the road, but that's where Sage Karam contacted the inner armcore to driver's left, and he's left some fluids from the Lexus there. Thank you very much indeed to our marshals, corner workers, flaggers, all of our volunteers on recovery, track services, IMSA intervention, and those checking tickets, parking cars, etc. Without your assistance this weekend, we couldn't go motor racing. We thank you very much for your service. Plenty of support for America's sports car, the Chevrolet Corvette. America's sports car for a very, very long time now. The C6R coming to the end of its racing life. C7R. All kinds of rumours about where the engine will be on that car. Prototype or a project known as the Zora, after the original designer, father of the Corvette. Rumoured to be a mid-engined car. Is that a step too far for America's sports car? Very much a blue-collar sports car as well. More than 40,000 of them finding new cars, finding homes last year. Never any issue about how many of those there are being built to qualify them in GTLM. Up against some stiff opposition here. And particularly the BMWs, who found their form with this BMW M6. Last season of competition for this, and sort of an interim car. The new M8 was on display at the Nürburgring 24 hours, the road car. We had been promised a quick look at the race car under heavy disguise, but that didn't materialise. It's another big coupe. BMW asking for and getting some waivers to bring the car down out the wind a little bit. They wanted to take 10 centimetres out of the doors of the car and pull the car down. That hasn't been allowed. Ferrari and Porsche, I believe, were the two. There has to be, to do something like that, you have to have complete agreement from the other manufacturers, and there wasn't. But I do believe that there will be 2 or 3 centimetres taken out, but much lower down the car in the sill area, to pull the new BMW GTE GTLM car out of the wind. That car eligible for Le Mans 2018, but will make its competition debut at the Rolex 24 Daytona in 2018. Jens Marquardt telling us that at our... Jens Marquardt is the BMW Global Motorsport head, telling us that in an interview at the Nürburgring 24. So we will get to see that M8 first in competitive style anyway. I really don't know about GTLM, Jeremy, if I'm honest. I think if it had been a bit wetter, I would have possibly put some money on the Porsches. Might not be quite slippy enough for them. So take your pick, BMW, Ford or Chevrolet. Could still be a Porsche. And that new exhaust that they've got on it sounds absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be much to choose between the the four manufacturers through the 2 practice sessions yesterday. BMW's certainly have been back on the pace since the last round at Circuit of the Americas. That was good to see because they'd been languishing at the back of the pack for the first couple of races of the season, but not the case anymore. Yeah, I'd be hard pressed, I must admit, to pick a favourite here. We saw Tommy Milner turning a good lap in the Corvette. I think was that in the second session yesterday. I can't remember. We had so many ups and downs in this class. I think it's going to be a wide open battle between all of them. It should be a lot of fun. Still the cleanup underway from that incident involving Sage Cam. The car now has been removed. Green flag, Jeremy. Good. So the car, as soon as the car was rolling, the guys checking out what was going on the track. That's odd. And nobody taking the opportunity. The countdown clock has started. Definitely green flag waving down to our left. Yeah. And we're going to have a cup of tea. Yeah, curious. BMWs with Jim Roller. Have they fired up, Jim? That would be a yes then. Yeah, there you go. Very good. Adam, engines with you? Nope. Neither of the Corvettes and neither of the Fords have fired up yet. Wow. Yeah, the track's still drying. There's a few places on the track where it is still pretty slippery, as Sage Cam and Jack Hawkes have both found out at turn 9. We saw yesterday in the last free practice session yesterday, free practice 2, quite a few teams do a simulation for qualifying that was only one flying lap. And I wondered then if that's what they were going to be doing. By the way, we've already got the prototypes starting to queue up. The 70 Mazda tried to get down there first, but was beaten, unsurprisingly, by the 31 and the 5 Cadillacs. They are rather possessive, shall we say, about getting onto the pit lane first. Bit of an obsession with them. They don't believe they get good luck without doing that. Still no takers. Massive game of chicken here. Curious, huh? So we have 2 German manufacturers versus 2 US manufacturers. And nobody at the moment. There is a Porsche flat 6 engine bursting into life. And it is the first of the 2 cars, which is the 911. Patrick Pilet goes out first. But only Patrick Pilet, that new exhaust note echoing across Watkins Glen into that. That just sounds magnificent. Dear Frank Walliser, 2 things I need from you. First of all, the new GT2 RS with 750 horsepower. And second, can you do me an exhaust that sounds like that from a 993? That one. Richard Westbrook goes out in the Fords. And yesterday in the practice sessions, the fastest times were turned by the Fords. Number 66 car set the fastest time of all. That was Dirk Müller with a 43.078. That was set in the first session. The same car with Joey Hand at the wheel was fastest in the second session at a 43.115. And then Richard Westbrook in the second session, a 43.226. Antonio Garcia turned a 143.2 also. 143.5 for Bill Arblin in the BMW. So it was all pretty tight yesterday, as one would expect. Both BMWs leave in perfect formation. So we've still got both the Corvettes, one of the Chip Ganassi racing cars, and everyone else is out on the track. So it was Alex Sims who led out Martin Tomczyk in the second BMW. Tomczyk time. Just to recap, Vantour in the 912, number 912. Patrick Pilet in the 911, Richard Westbrook in the 67, Joey Hand in the 66, the BMW's 24 Tomczyk, 25 Sims. Through goes Pilet. Tommy Milner leaves the pit lane, and he's going to come out right in front of Patrick Pilet on his fast lap, is he? Yes, he is. Pilet just starting to climb the S's, and in the middle of it is Tommy Milner, but Tommy's trying to get up to speed quickly. Oh, that Porsche. Headlights ablaze on the 911, and Tommy Milner absolutely heads up driving, steered well to the right. Curb on the entrance, both curbs on the exit, but not massive amounts on the middle and exit curb from Patrick Pilet, who is on his fast lap. Empty pit lane now as everyone has left. Pilet down towards turn 6, tucks the nose of the Porsche in early, doesn't use the curb on the exit, and I think that's very sensible. They'll still be wet. Sage Karam has done everyone a bit of a favour there. Into 7, the toe of the boot, uphill, up through the gearbox. Meantime, the 66, Joey Hand, getting up to pace as well. Coming to the end of his outlap. It will be Patrick Pilet who clocks his fast time first. A bit of a wiggle from Joey Hand coming out of 9, just feeling for grip there. Very distinctive low rumble from the V6. And that odd spluttering wastegate stroke anti-lag system, the air-driven anti-lag system that the Porsche the Ford EcoBoost engine has, sorry. And Patrick Pilet puts in a 45.4, Jeremy. How does that stack up?
Yeah, it'll be a fair way away from that. It will be, I think we'll be down to fastest times from yesterday, if not even quicker than that, which is the low 43s, I would expect at least.
Where is the qualifying lap record standing as Patrick Pilet heads out through the S's and towards the inner loop for his second flying lap? Meantime, the 912 in the hands of Laurens Vanthoor is coming through the toe of the boot at 7, over the brow of the hill to 8.
141.3 for last year for Richard Westbrook in the Ford GT. Joey Hand set a faster lap during the race of 141.1, so I think those sort of that's the benchmark we'll be looking for this afternoon. The fastest time in GTD last year in qualifying was a 45.4, so Andy Lally still a half a second away from that. The track was still certainly drying out at that stage. We'll see now. I think most of the track, certainly in generality is dry, but can't afford to stray too much offline, and there are a couple of places where there's some dampness.
Here comes Laurens Vanthoor. His first fast lap isn't a fast lap. Neither was Richard Westbrook. It looks like they're bringing their Michelin tyres in a slightly different way as to what Patrick Pilet did earlier on. It's absolutely crucial here. 24 BMW and 25 BMW, 47.0, 47.3, 47.3 for the 67 car as well. Joey Hand a 46.6, so Pilet with his first flyer, still the best lap, goes through his second flyer, 44.5. And that was 2 fastest sectors, but not a great last sector, interestingly, for Patrick Pilet. Beaten in that by Joey Hand. Joey Hand still having a little bit of an issue getting his car through 9. 67 is Richard Westbrook coming to the end of his flying lap. Just seems to be a little bit of a struggle to get the Ford to turn in. Almost having 2 goes at it as he turns in there, sort of a first and then a second bite of the cherry. Through goes Westbrook and goes to provisional pole, 44.2. And that's 0.2 of a second quicker than Patrick Pilet's best. Ford from Porsche. Now, what have BMW got in the tank this weekend? 24, Martin Tomczyk has his teammate just about 120 yards ahead of him on the circuit at the moment, that being Martin Tomczyk.
Martin Tomczyk goes purple in sector 1, fastest sector time of all, but in the middle sector, he was down a couple of tenths on Richard Westbrook, and this lap, Patrick Pilet has gone nearly half a second quicker in that middle sector than anybody else at this stage.
Tomczyk crosses the line. And does he improve? He does. In fact, excuse me, it was Alexander. No, it was Tomczyk in that car, and he goes to the top. 24 from Westbrook, 67 from 25. Alex Sims up to third. Then the two Porsches as Lawrence Vanteur just improved, but he gets bumped down to sixth as Joey Hand in the 66, and Pele back to the top. So getting, now that's his third flying lap, fourth time across the line. So Pele getting good pace from his Michelin tyres, even though he went out harder than everyone else, Jeremy.
Yep, I think so. Was every inch of the road being used there by Richard Westbrook in car number 67, the exit of turn 9, up on those curbs on the exit, which is where
dangerous
Sage Carroll came to grief.
5 minutes left, Jeremy.
To be fair, Jack Hawkins was out of control even before he got on the curb on that corner, I think. Here comes Westy across the line. Any improvement this time? Purple, the final sector. It does improve, but still third place there for car number 67.
Porsche, BMW Ford, BMW Ford Chevrolet as Tommy Milner wears in sixth position with a 45 flat. 0.099 of a second between Pele and Tomczyk in the battle of the German manufacturers, Porsche and BMW.
Yep, just over a tenth of a second between those top three different manufacturers, Porsche, BMW and Ford. The best of Chevy's Tommy Milner, not yet shown the ultimate speed of that car, perhaps a 45.0 so far.
Antonio Garcia bringing his Michelin tyres up to temp and pressure a little bit more gently. Lawrence Vanteur the second, Porsche 1-2, 0.054 of a second between the two Porsche 911 RSRs.
Now Martin Tomczyk beats all of them. 43.468 now for car number 24, the German. That's a great lap. Joey Hand slots into second place, just 0.03 slower.
Patrick Pele back to the top. Pele, that's another, every time Pele has gone across the line, he's improved, and at that time has been the fastest man on the track. He's now 0.077 of a second ahead of Tomczyk, Hand, Sims and Westbrook. Those drivers all within half a second. That's first down to fifth. Very different cars on a 3.4 mile circuit.
Watch for Westy, super fast, middle sector. Just coming up, where is he?
Coming around the end of the lap now.
Yeah,
here he comes.
Fine. This is
Listen for the rumble. Rides the curb on the exit of turn 11. He's getting closer to the wall. More daring. Crosses the line now and goes to the point. 43.2. Well, that's a tenth of a second. That's massive in this context.
0.229 now down to fourth place, being Joey Hand, who's still out on the track. Martin Tomczyk, fastest of all through sector 1, but not through sector 2. Lost quite a bit of time there, relative at least to the Fords. Wasn't an improvement for, even personal improvement for Martin Tomczyk in car number 24 in the middle sector.
Here comes Lawrence Vanteur back towards us in the 912. The BMW just coming through as well. This is the 24 car, Martin Tomczyk. He steers out for the lap. I heard the wheel of a Porsche. That was Vanteur, and his time is good enough to put him where? No, he steers in 8th position, although it's his best lap. And Alex Sims goes to the top from BMW 25 rather, and Tomczyk goes to second. So it's now the two BMWs by, well, a tenth between them, and then another tenth. No, it's all changed again.
Joey Hand.
Patrick Pele goes through and slots into third because Joey Hand's gone into second. That's the first time that Patrick Pele has gone through and not gone to the top. Top three separated by 0.055 of a second. That was Westy rumbling through underneath us.
That was a Corvette.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
So that was Tommy Milner then. He gets his best time. He's in 7th. Here's Westy coming through now. Look across to our right, underneath the Sahlen's walkover bridge. Yeah, much closer to the wall, Westy. That's better.
Purple middle sector for Richard Westbrook.
Cross the line. He's down in 5th at the minute. No, he's not. He's back at the top with a 42.884. Two personal bests and an outright best in sector 2. He's now got 0.2 of a second on the rest of the field. That's huge in the context of what we've seen in the last 14 minutes, 13 and a half minutes, as we've got 90 seconds left.
It is, particularly with 0.3 covering the top 5.
Amazing. 0.4 over the top 6. at the moment, 3.5 tenths actually.
Yeah, that was an improvement from Antonio Garcia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
43.2, but leaves him down in 6th place.
Alex Sims comes around, but first of all, it'll be a Porsche that comes through. And is that an improvement for Vantour? It is. He moves above Tommy Milner, 143.3. So now we've got 7 cars within half a second, Jeremy. 7 cars within half a second on 3.4 miles.
And what was that? That was Martin Tomczyk taking the top time of 42.881. Yes. Richard Westbrook 0.003 behind him. Joey Hand 0.052 behind new pace setter Martin Tomczyk. 38 seconds remaining in this session.
All of those guys will get one more lap. So will the Corvette of Tommy Milner. He's just gone up to 6th position with a 43. What now? He's in 6th position. He's only 3 tenths. And a problem for the Ford. The 67's ran out of fuel. Westbrook is out of fuel on the uphill section after the S's going up to the bus stop chicane or the inner loop. He is cruising in the middle of the road.
Yeah, what can Joey Hand do?
He is... No, excuse me. He is much further round than I thought. He was going up the hill to turn 8. Everything was off there for a moment.
Checkered flag
is out. So Westy will not improve from 2nd.
Joey Hand is out on the track. He's only 0.052 behind. He's just gone personal best in sector 1 in car number 66. And purple in sector 2 for Joey Hand.
So one Ford limping to the line. Here comes Martin Tomczyk. What's he got left? He's got 2 corners to go. Has he lifted out of it?
I think so.
Pele still to come through, but he's not on a quick lap. It's Joey Hand, the man most likely at the moment in the 66 Chip Ganassi racing car. There goes the Porsche through. And Lawrence Vantour improves to 7th position. He's 3 tenths away from Paul. Sims goes through to take the checkered flag. 42.8. We're still waiting for Joey Hand. Here he comes across the line now underneath us. And Joey Hand goes to the pole. 142.7. 3 tenths of a second.
Yeah.
42.5, excuse me. 42.5. 3 tenths of a second. Only Tommy Milner to see the checkered flag now, and that was the rumble of a Corvette underneath me. Timing screen update. It's not an improvement. So Ford and Chip Ganassi Racing are on pole position with Alexander Sims, the 25 car, on outside of the front row. Martin Tomczyk already in the pit lane. The 24 car will be on the inside of the 2nd row, and it will be BMW and Ford who share the first 4 positions as Richard Westbrook looked to me as though he might have either stalled it or was out of fuel on that last lap. The 67 car, maybe a spin at the top of the hill. If it was, he was very lucky. Westbrook on the outside of row 2. Inside of row 3, 911 Porsche, Patrick Pele and Tommy Milner muscles the Corvette into 6th position. And it's Corvette and Porsche, or should I say Porsche and Corvette on row 4 as well. 9, 1, 2 and 3, Vantour and Garcia. The whole field separated by 3/4 of a second.
Yeah. And it's very interesting to look at those times. Joey Hand got 3 tenths on everybody, and then Sims, Tomczyk and Westbrook covered by 0.071 of a second. Then another 2.5 tenths back to Patrick Pele. Patrick Pele, Tommy Milner, Lawrence Vantour and Antonio Garcia covered by, well, barely 1/10 of a second. Really interesting to see that. But a great lap by Joey Hand, and it's going to be good enough for the pole position. It was Richard Westbrook who had the pole for that team here last season, and that will be pole number 3 for Joey Hand in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship.
And here he is coming down the pit lane in that 66 Chip Ganassi racing car. Always patriotic, that one, always in red, white and blue. And the IHG Rewards Club backed machine pulls to a stop. 3.5 litre V6 is turned off. The Eco Boost has done its job, and Shea Adam is down in the Chip Ganassi pit.
Joey Hand has a saying where when he's comfy, it goes well for him, and he is so comfortable right now behind the wheel of the 66 that he's taking his time getting out, unplugging, undoing his belts, popping open the door. This is going to be one big celebration.
Alex, that was a heck of an effort. Just right on the last second, though. Joey Hand pipped you. Was it everything you had?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. The track seemed to be getting better and better after the rain this morning. So, yeah, the last lap was pretty much on the edge. Yeah, good job by Joey, but I'm pretty pleased still with P2.
25 BMW will start outside of the front row at 6 hours. Where you start really isn't that important, is it?
No, of course. It's not so critical, but nevertheless, you know, you want to know that you've got the pace, and so I think being up the front is always preferable. So, yeah, happy with that, and my turns to tomorrow.
The man with the GTLM pole position for the 6 hours of Watkins Glen, Joey Hand. You're second in the points championship, but you're starting off first. That's a pretty good way to come back to the U.S. and say, hey, we want this thing.
Yeah, it is. All I can say is America. It's nice to be back in the USA. Great to do this on 4th of July weekend on Independence Day. It's, you know, it's a testament to these boys behind us and girls that, I say it all the time, but it's true. Preparation, the homework they do to roll this car out of the trailer so well every weekend, that's really what keeps us in the front, you know, because these short sessions and having rain and stuff, you got to have a good car right out of the box. So just happy to have, happy to be on this program, Chip Ganassi Racing Forward, and, you know, we got a lot of great sponsors, and today was a good day. It's a 6-hour race, but it's always fun to start in the front.
Yeah, 3 hours of practice for a 6-hour race makes it even more complicated. And the fact that your cars have just gotten back from France, for these ladies and gentlemen behind you to turn the cars around, this is your thank you to them, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm always trying to be fastest when I go out. But it's always great to be able to be P1, and really is a thank you. These guys' hard work and dedication. They spent a lot of time in France, away from their families. They got home, waited for these cars to arrive, tore them down, built them back up. I mean, everybody that goes to France does that. But, you know, just really proud of these guys and this team. And, you know, I love being on this program. When you, like I always say, when I get comfy, things get crazy.
Well, it was second last year. Can you do one better this year?
That's the plan. I mean, I come to win. I don't come for anything else. I show up to win. I leave home to win. So last year we ended up second, but our sister car did a great job. It was a cool 1-2. I would love to be 1-2 again, but with the old 6-6er in the front.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, 6-6 for Joey Hand and a 1:42.507. Decent lap, that.
Yeah, and Joey Hand, Dirk Mueller tend to alternate qualifying duties in that number 66 car. Joey put the car on pole at Daytona. He qualified on the front row at Long Beach. Another pole here, so great effort by him. And Alexander Sims, what a great effort that was by the Englishman. That was the third time he's qualified that car. Third fastest he was on the grid last time out for these cars at Circuit of the Americas. And a really excellent run there to qualify on the front row for tomorrow's Sahlen 6 hours of the Glen.
He looked pretty happy for second position. So I think that pretty much was the car, what the car could do. Martin Tomczyk was just a fraction of a second behind. The 24 car will start on the inside of the second row. This is good performance from the Rahal Latterman Lanigan BMW team. They've been getting a little bit of help on the BOP, but it is a very tight field. And once again, technical staff at IMSA should be applauded with the whole field within 3/4 of a second in qualifying trim.
Yeah, absolutely right. And got to say a shameless plug here, particularly on July 4th week. Two Team USA scholarship drivers get the respective poles in the two sessions so far. Andy Lally in the Acura, Joey Hand in the Ford.
We're going to remind them how long ago they were.
Well, yes, that's true. Andy Lally was, I guess, 1999, and Joey Hand would have been the following year, I think, 2000. So, yeah, that's right. Going back a little bit now, those two boys have been around a long, long time, but still at the top of their game.
And how's the scholarship looking for this year?
Yeah, pretty good, I think. Yeah, there's some good youngsters coming through, and at the lower levels of the sport, and we'll probably invite some of them to come on to Mid-Ohio for probably during the Verizon IndyCar Series weekend in a few weeks' time. Do some interviews there, and see who we can select for this year.
And back to the UK for some Formula Ford racing.
That's the plan at the moment. Yeah, depending on kind of the level of experience of the drivers we pick, but it's been a really good opportunity for the kids in the past, and last year's winner was Oliver Askew, who's making hay in the US F2000 Championship this season. Also racing actually this weekend at Mid-Ohio, just doing an F2000 Championship race, which is a different series, just to gain some experience at the racetrack at Mid-Ohio before he goes back there in a few weeks to defend his championship lead.
Green flag has gone out. It's IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship qualifying. We're to the prototype challenge cars last season for these machines. Just the 3 of them out here this weekend. It'll be sad to see these cars leave the championship. They've been stalwart servants of sports car racing here in North America. It never really caught on as a single manufacturer series, a spec series in Europe. But when they came across here with the rumbling V8, the LS3 GM V8 behind it, it really caught people's imagination, and for a while was a very important part of sports car racing. Started life as an LMP1 car, of course, the chassis, full carbon, and has repaid the investment many, many times over.
Yeah, it has been, I think it's been a tremendous boon to sports car racing in this country to have these PC cars over the last 6 or 7 years now, maybe longer than that, I guess, isn't it? Yeah. In the American model shows, and now more recently, of course, the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship. Only 3 cars this weekend, so good drivers will be at the wheel of these 3 cars joining the Sahlen 6 hours of Glen tomorrow. But it's the amateur drivers, Brian Alder, who's a team principal at Bar 1 Motorsports. He will be qualifying, I believe, the 26 car, and the teammate car will be Don Yount at the wheel. I'd much rather have seen Buddy Rice and or Gustavo Jacquemin to take it to James French, who'll be looking to maintain his streak. He was beaten once to the pole at Sebring by Gustavo Jacquemin, but Gustavo, I don't think he's qualifying his car today, so it'll probably be James who will maintain otherwise his streak of poles. 3 out of the 4 races this season. That team for Performance Tech Motorsports also won all 4 races. They got fastest lap in all 4 races. So needless to say, they lead the championship by a very, very healthy margin.
Been some very good drivers come through this championship in the past, and teams. Teams have stepped up as well.
Indeed so, and stepping up from last year, both PR1 Matheson Motorsports and JDC Miller Motorsports stepping up from PC into the prototype championship for 2017.
We'll see the prototypes out next, setting the pole position time for the Sahlen 6 hours of the Glen.
That is going to be fun.
Live from trackside, IMSA Radio with IMSA TV together. No interruptions, no geo-block. And don't forget, still to come, plenty of racing in sound and vision from Watkins Glen this afternoon with the 2-hour Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. And that is, I'm really looking forward to that. We've also got a Lamborghini Trofeo race as well towards the end of the day. So that is all live in perfect synchronization in sound and vision on the IMSA app at imsa.tv and via our syndications, including the player at radiolemans.com. Be a few people joining us perhaps who've been watching the IMSA 12 hours and listening to the team down at Imola. You come to us with 10 minutes remaining in PC qualifying with prototype challenge still to come. GTD pole position captured by Andy Lally for Acura, the 93 car backing up its win at Detroit with pole position here for the Sahlen 6 hours of the Glen. And in a very tight qualifying session for GTLM that has seen the whole 9, let's check that 8 car field, no Reese this weekend. 8 cars separated by 0.736 of a second. James French still getting up to speed. 38 Oregon. All these cars with the same chassis, engine, gearbox, bodywork, wheels and tyres. And at the moment, James not quite quicker than any of the GTLM cars, which was their pace in their 15-minute session, coming down at about 9 minutes to go. French crosses the line underneath our feet and does a 42.445 and leapfrogs the whole of the GTLM field. Yes, these cars not with us next year. Scott Atherton telling us earlier in the season, Sebring no plans to replace these cars with another prototype category, although I suppose that there's the opportunity to do something with the sporting regulations and maybe have a Pro-Am class for prototypes. I suppose you could also split the DPIs and the LMP2s, although Mr. Atherton has said that that wasn't under consideration when we last spoke to him. Through comes the 26 car of Brian Alder through the outer loop. Good to see Brian enjoying himself in this car. Works very hard indeed, the Bar 1 team. Johnny Morlam used to drive for that team. Had nothing but praise for Brian and the rest of the team with the way they went about their work in a very professional but very caring manner. Under 8 minutes now to go. James French's 42.445, the best against a 43.564 from Don Yount. Don, who was involved in a nasty incident this morning in the prototype lights presented by Mazda race, not of his own making. One of the LMP3 cars spun ahead of him, and then rather than standing still, decided to make a bid for freedom at the edge of the track, and whilst in first gear accelerated across the track right in front of Don as he was trying his evasive action, pitching him into the Armco barriers at a big accident. So good to see Don out in this qualifying session. It's not long. In fact, I think some of these cars, now, Jeremy, are eligible for vintage status here. They've
Yes.
been around that long.
Yes, even, well, just about anything is eligible for vintage over here. You can pretty much run what you brung these days. Anybody who wants to have some fun with whatever sort of car they happen to own can have a run. But yeah, they probably are even the historic groups that classify themselves as such. Bit of a side here. Just got a note from Scott Goodyear, who a lot of you remember. He's been tuning into our broadcast
Scott.
this morning. Hi, Scott. He's also a long time, hugely successful sports car racing, Indy cars, you name it. He's the colour analyst for ABC ESPN's coverage of the Horizon IndyCar series. And he sent his note to say he drove for Pfaff Motorsports, which of course won the. Which was running up front with Scott Harger, I should say, in the GT3 Cup race a little while ago. And he and his son, Scott and his son Michael, recently drove, will be testing some cars, a BMW M2 touring car this season for Pfaff later on this summer, so he's looking forward to that. And he also drove a new Audi RS3 LMS touring car last week as well.
The TCR car.
Yeah, what
had a lot of fun. What did he think of that? That was
a great car, is what
he was out at Autobahn, wasn't it? They were trying that out.
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah, look, judging by that picture.
3 cars sold, more than 30 test drives given.
Really?
Unfortunately, I couldn't get out there to give it a go. I've been promised a few laps.
Great to see young Michael Goodyear in something like that. He's done some open wheel racing in the past. Did a little bit of F4 last season. F4, by the way, will be racing at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park next weekend. And Scott says, I'm just happy that my Mackenzie factory Audi suits still fit, albeit a little tighter in the middle.
Yeah.
Welcome back behind the wheel, Scott. But it certainly would be great to see someone like Michael driving in the IMSA series next season.
Those TCR cars will be making their debut in the IMSA series. IMSA, the official sanctioning body for TCR as a standalone series, and also drafting the regulations and equivalency factors, the IMSA technical working party for the TCR cars wherever they may pop up. They will be in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge next year as an individual class, and they are having to be slowed down quite significantly. I won't say who, and which car it was that I'm talking about. But testing here, they were quicker than GT4 cars.
Not quite, but within a second. I spoke to Paul Holton about that on a couple of days ago, whatever that day would have been, Thursday, I guess. And he was testing the GT4 car here and the TC
was
car.
Was that a new GT4 car?
Yeah, it was the McLaren. The McLaren.
Okay.
That are running here, and he said that the McLaren was a bit quicker on the front straight and on the back straight, but the rest of the lap, the Audi was a little bit faster.
And for those who like Italian cars, Alfa Romeo have announced an official factory Giulietta. Last of their front-wheel drive cars have to be front-wheel drive, the TCR cars, and Alfa's moving away from front-wheel drive. Ironically, as BMW are moving towards it, the Giulietta is the last of the Alfa front-wheel drive cars. Their mission statement is built in Italy, distinctively Alfa, and rear-wheel or all-wheel drive for their coming models. BMW, of course, the 1 Series shares the Mini platform for its new iteration, and that will have a front-wheel drive car. No decision, that will be front-wheel drive rather, no decision yet on whether that new BMW 1 Series will have a TCR variant. But with, I think 6 or 7 already, and a couple of American manufacturers yet to announce, I'm told. I'm very excited by that. I've seen them racing quite a lot around the world, both in their own championship and embedded into some of the endurance races that I cover. In fact, Sebastian Blakemolen's team won the Silverstone 24 Hours with a Seat this year, which is the same floor plan as the Golf and the RS3 LMS. Although the RS3 is the only one in sedan form, which surprises me. I would have thought it was a no-brainer to get the aero working better. Last 2 minutes, and Don Yount has got a decent lap in. 42.3 takes him ahead of all the GTLM cars as well. Yeah. A couple of seconds away from James French, but I think to get ahead of the GTLM cars will be a feather in Don Yount's cap. That will be something he would have been aiming for. In fact, he just improves again. Goes down to 1.8 seconds away from James French. That's a stout effort from Don Yount there in the 20 car.
It is a good effort, and again, he's taken it very seriously. This weekend took the opportunity to get into that LMPC car in the Mazda prototype, what are they called? Prototype challenge presented by Mazda these days. Get some more seat time in the car that's usually driven by Brian Alder, and didn't pay off this morning because he was involved in a wreck absolutely not of his making, but had some good track time yesterday and clearly taking advantage of that.
Last 90 seconds then. James French has got down to 1:40.322, but he's going to improve that this time around.
As he always does. He's a master of putting the last lap together, isn't he, James French? He builds all the way through these sessions and then goes through on the final lap.
And again, credit to Continental Tire for providing what I call a proper qualifying tyre that gives us a good old-fashioned qualifying session. You go out there, you put enough fuel in to run the whole, in this case, 15 minutes, and as the fuel burns off, the car should get quicker. Well, that could only happen if the tyre is consistent enough and has similar performance at the end in percentage terms as it does at the beginning. And as the car gets lighter, that's where you get the performance advantage from. And fair play to Continental for doing that. And indeed, James French does improve, goes down to 1:40.049. He'll want to 39 next time around. Just stretches his lead back to over 2 seconds. Back to Don Yount.
Yeah, I think he's been told to ease it off, actually bring it in, perhaps because he wasn't quite as quick through the first sector on this next lap for James French, but it looks like I don't think anybody's going to beat that. Don Yount not quite as quick on that last lap, 42.6. What did Brian Alder? 43.7. So he also not quite as quick as his previous best lap. He's just behind the GTLM field, Brian Alder, in terms of his lap time.
Rumble of the V8 as Brian Alder comes back towards the outer loop through the inner loop there. Checkered flag is out. Let's see if James French stays out or whether he drops into the pit lane. Decent middle sector, but nothing to write home about. I think you're right, Jeremy. I think he'll be peeling off right-handed after he comes through the next corner, which is turn 10. Does he slide to the right-hand side of the road? Yes, he does, and he stays right, and he drops into the pit lane entrance.
Give himself a little bit more time for an interview down the pit lane. What do you think?
Yeah, very good. Smart man.
So that'll be James's 8th pole in his career in the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship, 4th of this season for that number 38 Performance Tech Motorsports PC car.
It will be Don Yount, who is second on the PC grid. As French cross. Oh! And Brian Alder has looped it coming out of turn 9. Must have got on the curb and Sage caromed it. He's facing the wrong direction. Come to a halt almost exactly where Sage Karam did earlier in the Lexus. The oil dry bearing witness to that.
Did he hit anything?
My bet is he hit the exit curb and looped it, but did he hit the inside? Oh no, he's gone well before the exit curb. He did hit front and rear right-hand side. Glancing blows, but they'll be wanting to look at the geometry at least.
Yeah, the team owner won't be very impressed by that.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, wait a minute.
That is the team owner. Dink front, dink rear.
Ouch. He'll be kicking himself.
He'll be last lap as well. He'd be very annoyed. Let's go down to Jim Roller for this Continental Tire Pit Lane report with the pole sitter in the Prototype Challenge, and the fastest lap we've seen so far in this qualifying session from James French, 140.049. Jim?
Congratulations, young man, 4 of 5. I see the steering wheel's in one piece this time, so good job on that. Is this starting to get to be old hat a little bit?
No, not at all. It's never going to get old. And yeah, as far as the steering wheel goes, I managed to keep it in one piece, intact. Didn't have any full-on panic moments, so yeah, that was good. The car was honestly on rails. We did a really good job figuring it out this morning. Team did an amazing job. You know, we struggled a bit yesterday with some things, but came back strong and put a good one together.
Well, 6 hours, Patricia Ward, Kyle Masson with you. What's the plan? Just stomp on it and go for 6?
Pretty much, that's the plan. I mean, there's a lot of laps to be done, so it makes, you know, getting through traffic and all the other you know, complexities of a race. There's a lot of things that could happen. So we just got to keep our nose clean, and this should be the way to do it.
So tell us a little bit what happened with this. How the heck did you bend that steering wheel? I mean, that thing was, I mean, that's like the Hulk kind of stuff.
I know, I didn't even bend it, I broke it. No, I honestly, I spun into the brake zone of 8, and in kind of panic mode, I tried to steer away from the wall. And apparently I steered really hard away from the wall because it broke the wheel. So, yeah, that was not so good.
All right, John, they say adrenaline does strange things.
Yes, indeed, Jim. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, he steered beyond the amount of steering that he had. Interesting. They're not cheap things, those steering wheels, because it's not just a little round motor liter anymore with a bit of woods and a bit of metal. All kinds of electronics in that, paddle shift.
True, but less expensive than just about anything else on the car, though, probably. So.
Yes, probably. I'm sure it's a spec part, actually, like most things. But yes, still interesting that he managed to rip that and break it completely. I don't know my own strength. I had one of those, but the wheel came off. That's the other good saying. So James French, 4 of 5 this year. As we turn our attention now, if you are just joining us, good timing, turn our attention to one of the, I think, one of the most open prototype qualifying sessions that we've had for a wee while. Logic would say it'll be the Cadillac, it'll be the number 10 Cadillac probably, that will take pole position. But over the earlier sessions, Jeremy, we've seen a variety of cars at or near the top. The JDC Miller Motorsports 85 car has shown pace, not perhaps the ultimate pace, but certainly a big improvement from the 2 and 22, the Nismo-powered Ligiers, and with Ollie Pla in the 52 Ligier. That's another car that you can't count out. Depends who does the qualifying, of course.
It will be Olivier Pla. PR1 Motorsports just tweeted Olivier Pla will qualify for us today, going green soon. Follow live on the IMSA app. Absolutely right.
Yeah. We could see a real drag-em-out fist fight for pole position here. And again, cars will be getting quicker towards the end of the session, so it might be last man out gets pole. By no means a foregone conclusion. The Mazdas have been picking up pace as well. Marino Franchitti drafted into the 7-0 squad. We have got the might of the number 10 Konica Minolta Cadillac DPI racing team as well. But it's a bit more open than we've seen for some time. 15 minutes will go back on the clock. Lunch break coming up after that, and then we're back with racing this afternoon for the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. That whole 2-hour race and a bit of the build-up as well, live on IMSA Radio. We'll have the countdown to green and some of the atmosphere from the grid. And then joining IMSA TV for the whole of the 2 hours, uninterrupted, no breaks, no geo-block, no excuses on a Saturday to miss that race. And then stay with us after that for Lamborghini Super Trofeo, also live in sound and vision. Bumper day of racing today on IMSA.com, IMSA TV and the IMSA app, as well as if you do have to step away from a device with a big enough screen to watch on, you can also remember listening on IMSA. IMSA Radio. And the IMSA WeatherTech race tomorrow, also simulcast on XM Sirius, for those of you who are so equipped. The Nismo-powered Ligiers looking fine in their Tequila Patrón colours. And a word here for Ed Brown, who should have been doing his last prototype race this weekend. Ed deciding it's time to hang up the racing helmet as far as prototype racing is concerned. Strong suspicion that we'll see him in a GTD car next year. But Ed has been suffering for a wee while with some back problems and has had emergency lumbar surgery in the early part of the week. Now, there was a report that he would be coming here. How he might get up here and how much strapping stroke immobilisation he would need, I'm not sure. But if he is here, Ed, thank you for your support of the sport and your continued support of the sport. If you're not and tuned in, get well soon and we'll see you at CTMP, I hope.
Yeah, indeed, and we certainly look forward to seeing, he's already said that he's going to be testing some GT3 cars in the coming weeks or months, and I know we're looking forward to getting back behind the wheel of one of those cars. Ricky Taylor will be qualifying the number 10 car for Konica Minolta Racing. That's one of the Cadillacs. Been dominant this season in terms of race results. Ricky and Jordan Taylor brothers have won all 5 races so far this season. A perfect start to the season, as did the Performance Tech Motorsports team in PC. So 2 perfect records on the line here this weekend. Cadillacs haven't been the fastest cars in practice yesterday, but we'll see what qualifying brings. I know this team has been working, they're concentrating on their race pace, looking for consistency and speed. You have to see what they can put together this afternoon in qualifying. It will be Ricky at the wheel of that car. He's generally the qualifier these days, it seems. And didn't get an opportunity. Well, there was a session last time out in Detroit where he caused a red flag stoppage, so the grid ended up being set by championship points, but because he had caused that red flag stoppage, which brought about that rule into effect, instead of taking away his best lap, he was put to the back of the grid, which I think was a sensible call there. So 3 poles in a row then for that team, for Ricky Taylor, and it will
Didn't stop them winning the race, of course.
No, well, of course, no. Thanks to everybody else saying after you, Claude.
And they did run a pretty decent race tactically.
Yeah, they did
as well, when others didn't. New set of Continental Tire slick tyres being strapped on to all of our prototype runners. Engines have fired. Green flag is in hand, but still furled. Now unfurled and waved with gusto. And a race off the pit lane. Everybody going out first of all. The 2 at the back of the field. The Mazda is side by side with the 52 Ligier, and they're coming out having a pit lane speed limiter race. This is fantastic if they're going to go around like this.
Yeah, the only car that didn't go out there, I think, was number 90 for Visit Florida.com entry. Yeah, indeed. That's
yeah, they want to play on their own. They've had enough with people running into them, things falling off, issues.
That car super fast this morning.
Yes, it was.
In the practice session. But the fastest lap of the weekend so far set by Luis Felipe Pipo Derani yesterday afternoon, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, free practice 2.
Yeah, at a 34.696.
That was impressive. In fact, it was the 22 and the 2 that were on top of the timesheets, wasn't it? Nice little bit of get well soon message to Ed Brown, as we were mentioning. Yeah, take a picture of that, settle back with a bit of Patrón Platinum. So, just 15 minutes. Get out there, do a fast lap. No averages, no second chances, no Q2s and 3s. It is get it out of the fast draw and leave nothing on the track. I'm very surprised everybody went out together, but kind of like it, if I'm honest. It's a good old-fashioned qualifying session.
Different from GTLMs, they were just waiting for somebody else to make the first move, weren't we? But these guys, no. I mean, the track now certainly is completely dry.
So goes the 10.
Pretty much ideal conditions, I would suggest, for qualifying.
Yeah, I'd agree. So, Ricky Taylor qualifying the 10, Pipo Derani in the number 2 black and green Nissan, Christian Fittipaldi in the 5, the white Cadillac. 22, Johannes van Overbeek straight into the pits for the 85, Misha Goikberg, the 85 bright yellow JDC Orica. Renger van der Zande has just left the pit lane in the blue Multimatic, number 90 with the pixelated side pods. It's a new colour for them this weekend.
And his prayers for rain don't appear to be...
No, he was desperate for rain.
Yes, for qualifying.
85 getting a drive through for the pit lane speed limit on going out of the pits. So Misha Goikberg just a little bit too excited. Yeah. Ollie Platt in the 52, Tristan Nunez in the 55. It's the red Mazda, Joel Miller in the 70, the grey Mazda. Eric Curran in the 31, the red Cadillac. This is going to be very interesting indeed. I wouldn't be surprised to see something other than a Cadillac on pole position this weekend. I think it would be the worst thing tactically for Cadillac not to be on the pole either, if I'm honest.
Quite. I was just looking at the fastest trap speed shown so far this weekend. It was number 5 Cadillac that was actually quickest of all, 183.3, I think that is, miles an hour. Difficult to read that. Yeah, 183.3 miles an hour. So it's set in the second practice session yesterday afternoon, fractionally quicker than Scott Sharp in the number 2 Nissan DPI, then Dane Cameron in the Cadillac, then the Ligier, Jose Gutierrez at the wheel of that particular car at the time at 181.3. The Mazdas, which one would have expected to be quick on the straights, only 178.2 for Spencer Piggott, who was at the wheel of the number 55 car at the time, but that Multimatic chassis just doesn't seem to be terribly fleet on the straights.
Ollie Platt gets straight down to business. 136.3 for him. Ricky Taylor 138.2. And again, different tactics on how you bring the tyres up to temperature and pressure. Told by those that know, i.e. drivers, these Continental tyres can be quite deceptive. They'll give you a lot of grip before they get to their optimum temperature and therefore their optimum pressure. And at that point, you've got to be very, very careful about how you attack the curbs, because the early laps you can do damage. You get lulled into a false sense of security, if you like, because you've got more grip than you expect on relatively cold tyres. No tyre warmers allowed here. The groundsman very particular about that. But the tyres are that good on your first lap out. You can attack too hard on the curbs, and there's 1 or 2 curbs here that you don't want to ride.
Lap record here in qualifying set last year by Johannes van Overbeek in what was then a Ligier Honda, a 135.207, average speed 128.5 miles an hour.
I think that's going to go.
Yeah, yes, I think so in these conditions. as we are right now.
It's lovely,
Fastest time
actually.
yesterday was a 34.6. Fastest lap in a race last year was quicker. The conditions were really good in the race last year. Olivier Pla sets the outright record for him. So WeatherTech SportsCar Championship car, 134.515.
Well, say goodbye to the qualifying record as Pipo Derani on his second flying laps to the 35.2. So we're getting close to 130 miles an hour average already. Derani and Pla, the two Ligier Works drivers, Nismo's engine and bodywork on the 2 and the 22 car, but the Ligier chassis underneath. So 2 Ligiers from 3 Dalaras, the 3 Cadillacs, 10, 5 and 31, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Then the Multimatic of Renger van der Zande, 137.9. But at the moment, there's nothing that can touch the 2 Ligiers. At the head of the field, Johannes van Overbeek in 7th position in the 3rd of the Ligiers.
134.153 you're going to have to do to get 130 mile an hour average around here. 134.1, so just about a second away from Pipo Derani's best, if not on that second flying lap. It's doable. Well, I don't know whether it's doable, but it's conceivable.
You can imagine it happening for sure, yeah.
Not beyond the realm at all.
Not at all. Here comes Pipo across the line now, underneath us.
Slower lap that time, give the tyres a bit of a breather, I think. Unless he made a mistake in the middle sector.
Yeah, middle sector was a bit slow. In fact, it was very slow. So either giving himself a bit of room or a mistake made. Ollie Pla back to the top with a 35.1.
Okay.
And stretches the lead at the front of the field to 0.111 of a second. Nelson, one of everything. 135.1. Then for Ollie Pla. Misha Goikberg getting up to speed, having got up to speed too early in the pit lane. He's about to improve his best lap, sitting on a 39.5 at the moment, and goes up to a 37.7. And that puts him in 7th position. 2 Mazdas at the moment holding up the field. Down in 9th and 10th position for the 55 and the 7.0.
Christian Fittipaldi, the best of the Cadillacs at the moment in car number 5, or 136.
Yeah, he's
0.3.
Just gone ahead of the 10 car that last lap around.
Nothing to choose between those two, almost identical lap times. Here comes Ricky Taylor, though, aboard car number 10. The Konica Minolta Cadillac across the start-finish line.
Improves, but only to the best of the Cadillac, still in 3rd position.
And then loses again to Christian Fittipaldi. He does go faster with a 135.8. So it's Olivier Pla leads away at the moment, 135.156. Oh, no, Luis Felipe Derani, 134.543 for Pipo Derani in car number 2. That is the Ligier Nissan to the top once more. 0.6 of a second ahead of Ollie Pla, who's on the slow lap now. He set that fast one, then backed off pretty much immediately. Give the Continental tyres a bit of a break, a breather, and then hopefully go again. He's going off around turn 1 now, headed toward the turn 2 and the uphill S's. Johannes van Overbeek, 5th fastest in the second, and Nissan's 136.4. That car yesterday turned a 135.2. That was with Bruno Senna at the wheel. Johannes van Overbeek's best lap yesterday, a 135.5. So he's still almost a second away from his best time yesterday. That's Johannes van Overbeek aboard the car number 22.
Ollie Pla pushing hard, matches Pipo Derani in the first section, riding the curbs massively in the bus stop. Johannes van Overbeek, by the way, improved last time around with 36.4 for 5th position in the 22 ESM Patrón car, and Renger van der Zande also improved but stays in 7th position.
Van Overbeek quicker in each of the first 2 sectors than his previous lap on this go around.
How quick is Pipo Derani? Answer, quick enough to start catching Eric Curran.
Yes.
So Pipo improved, did he? No, 134.5, 134.7. And he's lifted off immediately, trying to get himself some pace. So this will be another slower lap.
Yeah, Eric Curran did improve. The car running ahead of him on the racetrack, turn of 136.6.
Pla improves by a couple of tenths of a second, but stays in second position, 134.9. Half a second now behind Pipo Derani.
And Van Overbeek up to third place with a 135.6.
That's a very nice run for Johannes Van Overbeek. He's just done that steadily and gently, built up towards that. Renger van der Zande about to improve, as is Ollie Pla. Ollie Pla loves this car.
Purple in sector 1, that's turn 1, turns 2 up through the S's and onto the back straight.
Just flings the car into turn number 5, which is the outer loop. I love watching him through there. It is just total commitment. The only thing I can remember that I've ever seen anything like that over here was Marco Andretti in the LMP2 car at turn 1 at Sebring, flat for about 6 laps consecutively in testing when I was standing on the outside of the corner. And each time I took another step backwards. Extraordinary thing to see. And that's the kind of commitment that Ollie Pla has here. Andretti Racing looking at coming back into IMSA Racing, by the way. The rumours won't go away. No word yet on which manufacturer they might be tied up with, whether it's a new one or one of the existing ones. Oh, so close to the wall for Ollie Pla. Does he get his reward? He needs to find 4/10 of a second to go back to the top of the times. He does not. He improves, he doesn't improve.
And then he runs very wide over the exit turn 1, so we'll have to give up this lap because he exceeded the track limits there. This lap will not count for Ollie Pla.
2 minutes left and Johannes Van Overbeek will be no better than third as the 22 Nissan. The Nismo engined Ligier for ESM Tequila Patrón is in the pit lane. 3 Ligier chassis at the moment, ahead of 2 Dallara Cadillacs, then the Multimatic Gibson, then the third of the Cadillacs, then the Orica Gibson, then the 2 Multimatic Mazdas.
It's an interesting battle, isn't it, between the 2 Cadillacs. Christian Fittipaldi has the upper hand at the moment, but Ricky Taylor in car number 10, the Konica Minolta car, now coming through turn 11. He's on a really good lap.
Yeah, gives the wall a wide berth. Ricky Taylor, 5th at the moment, 136.0 is his time. Does he improve? He does, but he only bounces ahead of another Cadillac. 4th position, 135.7, 1.1 seconds away from what he needs to be on the pole position and half a second away from a front row start as Pipo Derani goes down to a 34.405.
Not quite enough for a 130-mile-an-hour lap, but a great effort by the young Brazilian. Yeah, he's not done yet, is he?
He's got clear circuit as well in front of him as he goes up through the S's. Now, Ollie Pla comes through the final corner. How close to the wall? Pretty close. Has it been a decent lap, or is he starting a decent lap? He was slow in the middle sector. He's starting what will be his final tilt at pole position. Down into turn 1, rides the curb with the inside of the Continentals, and then straddled the curb on exit, and a huge amount of dust thrown up from the skid plate on the bottom of the car.
Yeah, that's legal though, at least.
Yeah, 2 wheels were still on the track.
From that perspective, it's legal. That was the previous lap wasn't, so that's why he would have lifted off in the middle sector.
Overbeek's gone back out again. He won't get around to complete the lap. It's interesting. 22.3 for Pla in the first sector. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not purple and not his best, but what's he got left in the Continental tyres? He's at turn 6 now and drifts the car in. He's backing it in. It's brilliant.
Ricky Taylor is on track here to at least beat Pim Fittipaldi, who's also on a better lap than his previous best.
Ricky Taylor goes to third ahead of Van Overbeek inside of the second row, and Van Overbeek will not improve now because he can't get round to do another flyer. And Fittipaldi goes to third, so it's the 2 Dallara Cadillacs on the second row now. Checkered flag is out.
Great final sector from Christian Fittipaldi there.
And he will get another lap, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Derani's in the pits. 134.4 is the final gambit from the number 2 Nismo engined Ligier. Does the 52 car steer out? He does. They must think they've got a chance here. The delta time on the dashboard must be looking good. Ollie Pla's done a very good centre section. He's got to do an excellent third one if he's going to nick away Paul. 1:34.567, his best lap, but he's a tenth and a half away. He'll start on the outside of the front row.
And I bet straddling that curve down there in turn one cost him at least a half a tenth. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. It was, but it was still a great lap by Ollie Pla. Not purple anywhere, but very good lap.
Now, can either of the Cadillacs do something extraordinary here? Christian Fittipaldi is 9 tenths away on the inside of row 2. He's had a good first sector. Decent second sector, but not brilliant.
No, but Ricky Taylor's quicker on both those first 2 sectors, as he was on the last lap as well, and Christian still managed to beat him. So there's only a tenth, less than 2 tenths of a second between those 2 Cadillacs, third and fourth on the grid at the moment. Here comes Ricky Taylor.
Closest I've ever seen that black car to the wall in this 15 minutes. Ricky Taylor comes to the line. He's got a 35.4 to his name, and he does a 35.5, does not improve. He'll stay in fourth. Eric Curran will improve on his 36.2. Christian Fittipaldi pits, so it's only down to Eric Curran, who does improve, and he bumps down Renger van der Zande. And he will be on the outside of the third row. It's an all-Ligier front row. Nismo and Gibson powered. 2 and 52 separated by a tenth and a half. 2 Cadillacs, the 5 and the 10 on the second row. Then a mixed row, if you will, with the 22 Nissan and Nismo powered Ligier and the Cadillac Delara, the 31 car, in third position, in sixth position, excuse me, third of the Cadillacs. Then it's Multimatic, number 90, 85, Orica, Misha Goikberg, and the 2 Multimatic Mazda chassis, 55 and 70, 9th and 10th. Second pole for Pipa Durrani, who is with Jim Roller down in the Tequila Patrón ASM pit.
I couldn't think of a better get-well gift for Ed Brown, huh? Congratulations. Tell us about that lap.
Yeah, you know, I keep saying Ed is my lucky star, and it's amazing to be here, to be back with Patrón, and then be on pole. Just shows how much effort this team has been putting the last few months. It's amazing. You know, I know it doesn't mean anything for a 6-hour race, but I think for the spirit of the team, you know, everyone deserves this. There's so much effort that goes into this program that it's really nice to start the weekend with a pole position. You know, we still have 6 hours to go, but I just can't thank these guys enough.
You were just a fraction under average lap speed of 130 miles an hour. What's it like to go that fast around this racetrack? Those are speeds like I used to see in Formula One cars when I was here as a kid.
You know, prototypes, we've been showing that this is really quick, you know, and when I first came back here, the first practice that I jumped back in the prototype after driving GTs, you do feel that it's very powerful, and you know, it's just amazing to drive in a track like this, so smooth, so quick, fast corners. So it was a blast today. Thank you guys, thank everyone who came here today, and a big thank to my team.
Good luck in the 6 hours.
Thank you.
Olivier Pla is just taking off his helmet, having climbed out of the car, and the first person to greet him is Jacques Nicolet to congratulate one of his drivers on blocking it out for the front row for Ligier. Of course, Jacques Nicolet, the man behind Ligier, so it's been a good weekend for him. But Olivier, first thing he's doing is debriefing with the team, letting them know how the car felt and making sure that everything is good. And can I interrupt for a quick second? That was a really good lap out there. You came so close to getting the pull away from Pippo, but it's an all Ligier front row. That was the goal to begin with, right?
No, for sure, it's a great result for Ligier first. But of course, you know, I wanted Paul so much. But you know, with the LMP2 against the DPI, you know, I think it's not too bad. So we'll take it. People did a great job, and you see the gap is really close. For the team did also a fantastic job since the beginning of the weekend. So I'm really happy that we can put everything together. And let's see what's happened tomorrow in the race. I think we should be strong.
Well, last year you did the race, you had a 3-driver team and you finished third. This year it's just 2 of you. You think that'll be an advantage?
Yeah, well, I don't think, you know, it's a long race, but for sure, Jose also did a fantastic job from the beginning of the weekend. He's really right on the pace, which is perfect. And no, we just want to have a clean race, and then we're going to go for it tomorrow for sure.
Good luck tomorrow on the number 52.
Shea, Adam and Jim Roller hustling off to Marion's to grab some food before we start our countdown to green for the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. You'll be able to watch and listen to that wherever you are in the world later on this afternoon after our lunch break via IMSA.com and IMSA TV. Jeremy Shaw, let's just wrap up what we've seen in that slightly extended qualifying session through a few incidents and accidents. GTD, Andy Lally for Acura. That's just another great result for them. GTLM, great lap by Joey Hand, James French taking PC. But that prototype battle at the end, 2 Ligier chassis. Jacques Nicolet, the man behind Onroque, the organisation that has Ligier under its wing, he will be delighted to have got 2 of his chassis ahead of the Dallara Cadillacs.
Yeah, very much so, and great laps by both of those two. I think we could see how hard they were pushing, really on the limit there. Olivier Pla, there was barely a cigarette paper's width between his left-hand side wheels and bodywork on the fence on the exit of turn 11 there. That was commitment. Great laps by both of those two, and good to see ESM Tequila Patrón on the pole position. Great lap by Pipo Derani.
Yeah, Pipo will be in the ESM team for the whole of the rest of the season, although in the 22 car rather than the number 2. Olivier Pla drafted into that 52 car. That is going to be very interesting at the front of the race. But I tell you what, I don't think the Cadillac teams will be too disappointed there, Jeremy. Ultimately, a second off the overall pace, but I'm not sure that tactically, politically, and balance of performance, Ali, that's a new word, that's the worst result for them. Second row of the grid for the 5 and the 10 car. 10 car leading the championship, and by no means out of the running here as far as the overall victory is concerned.
Absolutely not. They've got consistently fast drivers. They've got a consistent car. They've got a well-balanced car. They're certainly in very, very good shape for the race.
Of the IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship qualifying. A reminder that you can watch and listen to Continental Tires and Lamborghinis this afternoon on the IMSA app at IMSA.com and on IMSA TV.